Elite.
Hello students, today we are going to make a quick revision of Kingdom Animalia. You know that already you have gone through the concept once. I'm trying to summarize the basic key concept. Right. Now, what will be the basis for classification of Kingdom Animalia? And like circulatory system, uh, blastopore, how it transforms, the type of body cavity, whether notochord is present or not. These are all the various bases. You know that traditionally animals are classified into non-chordates and chordates. That is one basic thing. And we generally say non-chordates, but non-chordates is not one phylum actually. It is a group of phyla. So they have uh, they all of them do not have notochord. That is the basic difference, right? Second thing, now in the Whittaker's classification of kingdom Animalia, the Animalia includes all the multicellular and heterotrophic individuals, which are consumers and heterotrophs. Of course, heterotrophs, but ingest to heterotrophs means they ingest and digest. Right. Now, we'll right. So if you see, basically, we can see organisms are two types. One is diploblastic and triploblastic. That is, two germ layers are present, and this diploblastic condition can be seen in Nidaria as well as Ctenophora. So these are the two phyla having diploblast. Diploblastic means two germ layers, ectoderm, endoderm. And ectoderm give rise to epidermis, endoderm give rise to gastrodermis. They have so-called cavity called cylindron or gastrovascular cavity, but not a true body cavity. Then coming to triploblastic, the triploblastic individuals are having a ectoderm, endoderm, and mesoderm. So mesoderm development in the evolution of kingdom Animalia is a major change that promoted development of complex organization. And it includes, triploblastic includes from phyla Platyhelminthes to Chordata. So all the phyla from Platyhelminthes to Chordata come under triploblastic categories. Now,
Okay, start.
then coming to the grades of organization, right? So if you see the basic thing, grades of organization, that is, so kingdom Animalia is having a cellular grade of organization. What is the phylum? Porifera. Then tissue grade of organization. Tissues will be present not only Nidaria to Chordata, all members have tissues. But what is the next major criteria for further dividing? That is based on symmetry. So arrangement of body parts in a geometrical design is called symmetry. So in this, body can be divided through any plane passing through center into many parts. We call it radial symmetry. If you divide the body into two identical halves through median sagittal plane, you call it bilateral symmetry, right? So this radial symmetry can be seen in Coelenterata, that is, and Ctenophora. Coelenterata is also called Cnidaria. Then Ctenophora, the comb gellus. Then coming to bilateral symmetry. So animals with bilateral symmetry will be including from phylum Platyhelminthes to Chordata, right? So in this without body cavity acyllomate Platyhelminthes, pseudocoelom or false body cavity present in the case of Aschelminthes or Nematihelminthes. You can also call this as a Nematihelminthes. So this is another name is Nematihelminthes, or in modern terms it can be called nematoda, right? Then with the true coelom, the animals coelomates include phyla from Annelida, Arthropoda, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata and Chordata, right? These are the various phyla. Now coming back next and kingdom Animalia classification is also uh, based on coelom. So the coelom, we can see here three basic patterns. What are the three basic patterns? Acoelomate condition, pseudocoelomate condition, true coelomate condition. So these are the three conditions. And and acoelomate, acoelomate condition can be seen in platyhelminthes. Here, this is the cavity of gut. It is the gut cavity. This is the body wall derived aligned with ectoderm. Then there is endodermal lining here, endoderm lining. Uh, the gut cavity is lined with endoderm, and then the middle layer is the mesoderm. And if you observe this plan, there is no cavity, right? Then that is present in platyhelminths acoelomate condition. Diploblastic animals without body cavity present in platyhelminths. Next, coming to pseudocoelom. What is pseudocoelom? False body cavity. Means they may have a cavity but not lined with mesoderm on both sides. Means peritoneum cannot be seen on both sides. Or in other words, some scientists say here if you observe, this is body wall lined with ectoderm, gut wall lined with endoderm, then in the middle some mesodermal pouches. So some cavities or structures lined with mesoderm. So what is this space? This space is actually pseudocoelom. Between different organs there is some cavity that can be called pseudocoelom. Now coming to true coelom. So true coelom is is a cavity lined on both sides by mesoderm. You observe these two layers. Both are coelomic epitheliums. So, gut wall lined on outside by mesoderm, and body wall on inside is lined with mesoderm. On both sides there is mesoderm, which can be also called peritoneum, visceral peritoneum and parietal peritoneum, right? So that is a basic thing. But actually, in true coelom also, we actually divide this true coelom into two types. That is schizocoelom and schizocoelom and enterocoelom. That is the two types of coelom. And this schizocoelom schizocoelom will be present in Annelida, Arthropoda, mollusca. A body cavity formed by split in mesoderm. Right. Second thing is enterocoelom. So mesoderm arises from gut archintron. From that true is formed, that is called enterocoelom. So schizocoelom is present in phyla Annelida 2, Annelida mollusca, arthropoda, right? So Annelida 2 mollusca. And enterocoelom, true coelom is two types. One is schizocoelom, other one is enterocoelom. This enterocoelom is present in echinodermata, hemichordata, and chordata. Echinodermata, hemichordata, and chordata. These are the things. So this is one body cavity is one criteria for classification. And we can also take into consideration the we can also uh, so if you take another important criteria, what is that criteria? That is the fate of blastopore during development, morula, blastula, gastrula, three conditions, and gastrula has an opening called a blastopore, and a blastopore may become mouth or blastopore may become anus. On that basis, we can call it, uh, we can divide into protostomes and deuterostomes. Proto means first, stome means mouth. That is a group where blastopore is changed into mouth. Now, deuterostomes means where blastopore becomes anus. Means stome means actually mouth. Deutero, newly. Stome means mouth. Newly formed mouth will be present. Anus will be derived from blastopore. So protostomes include Platyhelminthes to mollusca, means Platyhelminthes, Nematohelminthes, Annelida, Arthropoda, and mollusca. Similarly, deuterostomes include Echinodermata, Hemichordata, Chordata. So these three phyla will be having same type of coelom and same fate of blastopore. Now, quickly let us see the other concepts. Now, once look into this overall classification. If you see the kingdom Animalia, all the members of kingdom Animalia are multicellular. Maybe they are showing cellular level of organization that includes porifera and tissue grade of organization, and uh, that can be seen from all the phyla, but only tissue level remained is Cnidaria and Ctenophora. But no body cavity is present in which phyla means Coelenterata, Platyhelminthes. So either you can call it endoderm or gastrodermis. Coming to pseudocoelom, nematoda or Nematohelminthes. Then third category is coelomata. So true coelom containing animal, coelomata. Coelomata is further subdivided based on whether mesoderm uh, is forming body cavity like Schizocoelom. So Annelida, Arthropoda, mollusca. So these are the things derived from split in mesoderm. Whereas coelom, you can also remember like this. Here we are talking about schizocoelom. coelomates, and here it is enterocoelomates. So the enterocoelomates include where echinodermata no notochord is present and hemichord it is minor phylum of course, and notochord is present, then it will be automatically chordata. Now let us also see chordata classification here itself, because I told in the beginning it is not an entire discussion about the chapter, just a quick revision or overall view. Now notochord is present either in larval stages or rudimentarily present, then we call it protochordates. So protochordates include urochordata and cephalochordata. So protochordata includes urochordates and cephalochordates, right? Then coming to vertebrata. So notochord is transformed into vertebral column, and this vertebral column is one of the major skeletal support. You can say all vertebrates are chordates, and we say all chordates are not vertebrates. But you can definitely say all vertebrates are chordates. So this vertebrata, what is another name you can use for vertebrates? Craniates. So craniates, because the brain is supported by cranium in them. Now coming to the other groups, pisces, amphibians, reptiles, aves, mammals, right? These are the means gills will be present in pisces, like endoskeleton may be made up of uh, bone or cartilage, whereas the rest of the four groups, you also try to remember like this. These four groups, you can call them tetrapoda. Thus, vertebrata has been classified or categorized into two uh, super classes. The two grades are like that, we can say grades means agnatha and gnathostomata. And within the agnatha means no jaws, gnathostomata means jaws are present. Then pisces, fishes, and then tetrapoda. Amphibia, reptilia, aves, mammals come under tetrapoda. Two pairs of limbs generally present. Right. This is an overall view. Now, so here coming to porifera. So phylum porifera includes multicellular animals, which are all aquatic. Some are marine, rarely freshwater, and they may have no symmetry at all, or may be showing radial symmetry. Both are possible. For many years, they were thought to be plants or plant-like animals. Sedentary in nature, they have a special system. The specialized system in sponges says canal system. Water will be passing through canal system, and this canal system, it helps in movement of water through different channels that helps in collection of food and respiration, excretion, etc. They have actually true germ layers will not be seen in porifera, so body is perforated by numerous pores. That's why the name porifera has been used, right? And they will have different cells on the surface of the body. They have flat cells called pinacocytes, and on the inside of body cavity they'll have uh, flagellated cells which are called choanocytes. The flagellated cells are called choanocytes. These choanocytes they help in drawing water from the environment. Thus, it helps in carrying all the functions. They may have a skeleton Actually, there is no exoskeleton on outside. They have so-called skeleton, that is endoskeleton only, or you can call it endoskeleton, that is made up of spicules, spine-like structures, and sometimes spongin fibers. And here, the digestion will be only intracellular digestion. Actually, in higher animals, they'll have digestion taking place outside the cells, but here the digestion is intracellular, within the cells. Then they can show sexual or asexual reproduction, and asexual reproduction is by budding, and sexual reproduction by production of gametes. And interestingly, porifera will show internal fertilization only. So it occurs within the so-called cavity called spongiocele. The cavity of sponges is called spongiocele or paragastric cavity. So the important examples are cycon, the common sponge, and spongilla, then euspongia. Then other popular examples are also there like hyalonema, glass rope sponge. Euplectella. Euplectella is called Euplectella is called Venus flower basket. So Euplectella, right? So Euplectella is called Venus flower basket. Now Chalina is called dead man's finger. So another example is Chalina. This is called dead man's finger because of its appearance. And these are the popular examples. Now coming to next phylum, that is Cnidaria. So diploblastic animals, what are the phyla we discussed? One is Cnidaria, then other one is Ctenophora. Cnidaria members are exclusively uh, diploblastic, and Ctenophora is also diploblastic. And Cnidaria is otherwise called, old name is Coelenterata. Cnidaria is also called Coelenterata. And here all are aquatic, either freshwater or marine animals, and they will typically have radial symmetry. What is the kind of symmetry? Radial symmetry. So diploblastic animals, externally epidermis or ectoderm, internally endoderm or gastrodermis. They have specialized cells called pneumocytes or stinging cells, and here fertilization is external. Digestion can be intracellular or extracellular. They have specialized nervous system, a thing called nerve nets. So diffused nerve nets. In porifera, there are no nerve cells developed, only cells multicellular but no tissues. But from Cnidaria onwards, tissues are formed. And this phylum is very interesting because it has popular examples of coral forming members. And they'll have two distinct forms called, one is known as polyp and other one is called medusa. An umbrella-like form is medusa, and the cylindrical form is polyp. And polyp generally reproduces by asexual methods and produces medusa, and medusa reproduces by sexual methods and forms a polyp. So you have, these are two different. Some members are even polymorphic. One species existing in many forms, you can call it polymorphic, right? So coral forming members are there, particularly in a class called Anthozoa, which includes and coral members. And some members like Scyphozoa class includes jellyfishes. These two are popular things, right? Then Physalia is popularly known as Portuguese man of war. So the popular examples, Physalia, Adamsia. Adamsia is a sea anemone. Then Gorgonia is called sea fan. Then Meandrina, Meandrina is called brain coral. Right? Corallium, there is one popular other example. Corallium rubrum is called precious red coral. Obelia, one of the commonly studied, and Hydra. So Hydra is a very popular example with the polyp-like appearance, no mesoform. Coming to the other minor phylum very closely related to Cnidaria is Ctenophora. Ctenophora is also diploblastic, but Ctenophora will show only sexual reproduction. So Ctenophora will be showing only sexual reproduction and it does not have asexual reproduction. All are diploblastic. They are also radially symmetrical and they are popularly called comb jellies. They are called comb jellies. Right. And in this Ctenophora, they have jelly-like substance in the body. They are comb jellies and comb plates are present. Because of that, they got this name. And Pleurobranchia and Ctenoplan are the popular examples. Then plus first one in triploblastic category is Platyhelminthes. So platy means flat. Helminthus means worms, flat worms. They have bilateral symmetrical body, first time developed, and triploblastic and organs systems also started here, and it can be either free living or parasitic forms. Then even the first time developed, some systems are not well developed, so they can have, they are popularly called as flatworms. Why they are called flatworms? Because the body is dorsoventrally flattened. So body is dorsoventrally flattened. So they are called flatworms. Now, so this platyhelminthes is having acoelomate condition, means solid body plan. They don't have any body cavity, right? And here excretion is performed with the help of flame cells. They have flame-like appearance, that's why they are called flame cells. Excretion and osmoregulation. Regulation of body waters is known as osmoregulation, right? No circulatory system, no special other systems, and digestive system is with incomplete gut. They'll have only incomplete gut. They don't have complete gut. It can include either parasites or free living forms. So what is meant by direct or indirect development? In any animals, if they have a larval stage different from adults, we call it indirect development. Porifera, Cnidaria, mostly they have different larval forms. That is indirect development. Here, different classes will show different thing. Parasites in particular will have complex life cycles. And sexual reproduction is common. And regeneration may be seen in planarians which are free living. Then it includes organisms like convoluta, which is a free living form, and coming to flukes. Flukes include fasciola hepatica. This is commonly called as sheep liver fluke, and then cystosoma, the blood fluke of man. Right. These are flukes, and there are tapeworms, a tape-like body. So, Tinea solium. Tinea solium is called pork tapeworm. So that is where they have a tape-like body, right? Different tapeworms are present.
Start.
Yeah. So now coming to nematohelminthes or aschelminthes. That is, nematoda is otherwise called the nematohelminthes or aschelminthes. That is another name. So it includes popular examples known as ascaris. Ascaris is common roundworm. Then Eukarya is a filarial worm which causes elephantiasis, and Calostoma the hookworm. And Enterobius is the pinworm. And even though the common roundworm term is used for ascaris, majority of these animals can be called as roundworms. They are all triploblastic, bilaterally symmetrical forms, right? So these are all known as roundworms. Popularly, all of them are called roundworms, right? And they have pseudocoelom, no circulatory system, and one of the specialized feature is fixed number of cells are present. We can call this phenomenon as utily. Fixed number of cells will be present called utily. And unisexual you can also call dioecious, means male and female separate. In platyhelminthes, they are monoecious, means bisexual animals. And fertilization will be internal. Then here Nematohelminthes or nematoda, roundworms, and gut is generally without muscles, and only exception is pharynx. Pharynx is muscular, rest of the gut is non-muscular. Now, coming to different phyla, if you see from Annelida to Chordata, and the Annelida to Chordata phylus, when we see, observe these different groups. Organ system grade organization present in all the forms, and germ layers, three germ layers are present in all these phyla. Symmetry in all of them is bilateral symmetry. And what is speciality of echinoderms means they'll have radial symmetry in adults but bilateral symmetry in larval forms. Cephalization started from platyhelminthes, present in all, but not seen in the case of echinoderms. Right. Then body cavity is true coelom in all. But what is the difference? You can see schizocoelom, schizocoelom, schizocoelom in all these three. But enterocoelom, enterocoelom in these groups. Coming to segmentation, segmentation will be seen in only uh, Annelida and then Arthropoda. Traditional actually Arthropoda is placed earlier than Mollusca. Just this chart it was taken like that. But Mollusca there is no segmentation. Echinodermata no segmentation, and Chordata they'll have segmentation in embryos at least. So that's why it is not obvious throughout life. Then coming to their blastopore condition. So protostome condition is present in Annelida, then Mollusca, Arthropoda. But you can see deuterostome condition in the case of Echinodermata and Chordata. Right. Then coming to digestive system, first time digestive system developed in platyhelminthes. It is incomplete gut as we have discussed. Nematoda, first time complete gut developed, but muscles only restricted to pharynx. Then you see there is a sequence of development, and progressively the complexity is increasing with increasing evolutionary status. From Annelida onwards, you can see muscular gut. Nematode onwards, complete gut, but only pharynx is muscular. Thus, digestive system, complete gut, and not only that, from here onwards, it will be muscular gut also, right? And complete gut is present in all these forms. And then circulatory system, annelida is closed, Mollusca and Arthropoda open type, both of them body cavity is filled with blood called hemocoel. And then there is no body cavity. And what is important is echinoderms, the body cavity is reduced. You can say that instead of absent, better remember as reduced because it gets transformed, right? Transformed. Now, circulatory system is reduced and circulatory system is closed type. So, closed in Annelida and Chordata. Among mollusca, only there is one class called Cephalopoda, right? And how are the respiration is going on? Annelida generally no special respiratory organs because general body wall and the gills, so-called not true lungs actually, lung-like structures, pulmonary sac. Gills means here remember the comb-like structures, you can call it tinidia. The comb-like structures are called tinidia, right? Then trachea, gills or book lungs are present and book gills may be present in limbless-like forms. Then it is tube feet. It will be called as a tube feet in the case of echinoderms. And the body wall, gills, respiratory trace, cloacal rarely. And gills will be present in aquatic chordates and lungs will be present in all tetrapods. Tetrapods means which animals? Amphibians, reptiles, aves, mammals. These four groups, remember they are called tetrapods. Maybe sometimes limbs are absent in adults, right? Now, coming to excretion performed when nephridia in Annelida, metanephridia term can be used here also, mollusk also, and excretory glands, Malpighian tubules, then green glands will be seen in the case of crustacea, green glands, right? Green glands. And then special excretory organs are absent in echinodermata. Kidneys, mesonephric in fishes and amphibians, metanephric in reptiles, saves mammals, right? Then the nervous system has prominent head from arthropoda, but ganglia with the paid ganglia and ventral nerve cords. That is double ventral and solid nerve cords. Double ventral and solid nerve cords. And nerve cords, nervous system is very well developed in mollusca and cephalopoda. And here also there will be ganglia and ganglia paid here also double ventral nerve cords. Then nervous system shows poor development in echinodermata. They have some nerve ring like things and ganglia, but not that much prominent as seen in mollusca and arthropoda, right? But remember, all chordates have nervous system. And what is the difference? You don't see ventral nerve cord here, dorsal nerve cord, single nerve cord, tubular hollow nerve cord. So we'll again once quickly look into the chordate basic characters that we'll see. Right. Reproduction, all these members will have sexual reproduction, but Annelida, uh, leeches and earthworms are bisexual, whereas polychaetes like Nereis are unisexual. They may have sometimes larval forms, right? Trochophore larvae can be seen, and only leeches have internal fertilization, other annelids have external. And you see fertilization, porifera, platyhelminthes, nematohelminthes, leeches, most arthropods, and all true land vertebrates, means reptiles, apes, mammals. In all these groups, fertilization is internal. Right. So exoskeleton may be present in Echinodermata and uh, then endoskeleton is made up of plates called dermal ossicles here. Endoskeleton is made up of cartilage or bone, right? So endoskeleton is made up of cartilage or bone, and plates in the skin, and hydrostatic-skeleton coelom is acting like marine. Among these groups, if you see, what are the only marine forms? You see here, the echinodermata is exclusively marine, whereas marine and freshwater, both varieties are seen in other groups, right? This is about habitat. Then, right. Now coming to chordata. So, because Annelida, Arthropoda, chordata in general, we have gone through a comparative chart, and examples and other things once you go through them. Like Annelida has Nereis ferritima and Hiridonaria, and in Arthropoda, Apis, that is honeybee, and then Bombyx. Bombyx means silkworm. Then Laxifer is lac insect, Anopheles culex are mosquitoes, and then Musca is housefly. Locusta is gregarious pest. Limulus is popularly known as the king crab, right? In mollusca, the pila is called apple snail, and then pinctada, the pearl oyster, then sepia is called cuttlefish, then loligo is squid, and octopus is called devilfish. Aplysia is called sea hare, and then dentalium, elephant tusk shell. Then Chetoplura, chiton, polyplacophora. So mollusca will have a soft body but hard exoskeleton. Echinoderms, what is the meaning? Spiny skinned animals, all are marine. And lastly, in non-chordates, there is one more group called hemichordata. So what is hemichordata? Half chordates. They have body divided into proboscis, collar, and trunk, and they have a worm-like body looking like annelids actually, and they have proboscis gland helping in excretion, open circulatory system. Balanoglossus is a typical example. They also have pharyngeal slits. There are half chordates between non-chordates and chordates. If you see echinoderms, as we have discussed earlier, enterocoelom present, deuterostome condition present, spiny skin, mesodermal endoskeleton called dermal ossicles, but they don't have notochord, no closed circulatory system. Whereas chordata, then here dorsalmost structure is nerve cord. Then below that, notochord. And gut containing pharyngeal slits. And here there will be heart actually on the ventral side, there will be heart. So the typical chordate, even they have a post-anal tail. There will be a tail present after the anus region. So that is called post-anal tail, right? So that is called post-anal tail. Now, this is basic chordate. So notochord is only present in chordates, not chordate feature. And closed circulatory system can be seen in chordates and non-chordates. And then nerve cord, if it is present in non-chordates, it is double ventral solid nerve cord, but chordates have a dorsal tubular nerve cord, and then brain is well developed, and heart is 2 to 4 chamber, like this. So these are the basic differences in chordates. And finally, we'll look into one's various examples. The chordata The chordates include protochordates and vertebrates. Protochordates and vertebrates. So the protochordates include which animals? That is urochordates and cephalochordates. So the urochordates include Acidia, Salpa, Dolula. Uro means tail, chorda means notochord. Notochord present in tail region. Then cephalochordata means cephala means head, chorda means notochord. Notochord present in the head region. It includes amphioxus. They are typical or ideal chordates in which chordate characters are present throughout life. In both the protochordate groups, notochord is not at all replaced by vertebral column. So that is about protochordates. Agnatha includes cyclostomes. In cyclostomes, what are the examples? Petromyzon and myxine. Petromyzon and myxine. These are basically marine, but they can also migrate. They don't have scales. Endoskeleton is cartilaginous. Pharyngeal slits around 6 to 15 will be present. They have some fish-like characters, or you can call jawless fishes also. The term jawless fishes is commonly used here, and they may have larval stage, and that shows migration from seawater to freshwater, known as anadromous migration, and after it metamorphoses they come back to sea, right? So these are the earliest chordates. Then coming to uh, earliest vertebrates, sorry. Then gnathostomes, the jaws are present. Jaws containing animals are pisces, and pisces include the fishes which have head, body, head, trunk, and tail region. Body is covered by scales. Mouth position is variable. So endoskeleton is cartilaginous or bony. Heart is two-chambered here, circulating only impure or venous blood. They have mesonephric kidneys. And fishes, two types, chondrichthyes and osteichthyes. Cartilaginous fishes, chondrichthyes; bony fishes, osteichthyes. Cartilaginous fishes have 4 to 7 pairs of gill slits, 5 to 7 pairs of gill slits, and no operculum, no air bladder, ventral mouth, and they have placoid scales on the body, and ureotelic, all are marine. That is about cartilaginous fishes. Sharks. So scoliodon, carcharodon, these are all examples for this. Torpedo, etc. Electrically. Then bony fishes will have, interestingly, an air bladder for balancing in water, hydrostatic organ, and they have a terminal mouth, and ctenoid or cycloid scales will be present. And bony fishes, generally they need not swim constantly like those of chondrichthyes, as they have air bladder for buoyancy, right? So majority of fishes, 90% fishes, they all belong to osteichthyes. That is about pisces. Then what about amphibians? Head and trunk, only two regions are present, and no scales are generally present, and three-chambered heart is present. Body is divided into head and trunk, right? So here there are popular examples are present, like the frog or rana. We can call it a rana, right? And in fishes, one more point to remember: chondrichthyes exclusively marine, osteichthyes can be freshwater or marine or bony. All three categories can be present. Then ichthyophis is a limbless amphibian. Coming to reptiles. What are reptiles? Those which are creeping on their bellies are called reptiles. Belly creepers, that is another term. They have three-chambered hearts, so they too have incomplete double circulation like amphibians. Because both amphibians and reptiles, they don't have ventricle completely divided. Respiration by lungs. In amphibia, it can be skin, lungs, and buccal cavity. Here only lungs. Then skin is cast off in the form of layers in lizards and snakes. Mostly two pairs of limbs are present. Belly creepers and dry skin, mostly dry skin here. But reptiles, use mammals have a special feature called amnion, that is for completing their development on land. Then here test you do chameleon. Chameleon is called garden lizard. Calotis is garden lizard. Chameleon is tree lizard. Crocodile is alligator. Hemidactyl is Nasa. Ophiophagous hanna, that is king cobra. Bungerus, crate, vipera, rasla, etc. Okay. Most specialized group of vertebrates is birds. They do have two pairs of limbs, but first pair modified into wings. Then and here also there is some points they are similar to reptiles, but in other aspect they are different. So fishes, amphibians, reptiles are poikilotherms. Birds and mammals maintain constant temperature, so they are called homeotherms. Certain birds are present which are called flightless, like Struthio. African ostrich. Four-chambered heart is present, warm-blooded. Body is covered by feathers and scales are present on their legs. And fertilization always internal, and all birds without exception are all oviparous, just modified into beak. Neophron is vulture and Aptenodytis is penguin, right? Then mammals, majority mammals, you know, so amphibians, reptiles, use mammals, they're called as tetrapods, right? So these are all called tetrapods, but this group is called amniotes. Means they're all provided with amnion for completing their development. So just once look into this chart completely to have overall idea. And mammals, mammary glands are present, constant body temperature, four-chambered heart, internal development, hair is present on the body. They are also specialized in having pinna to receive the sound vibration from different directions, and highly successful, most abundant among the present day groups. Number-wise, varieties may be higher in fishes, but most successful group among chordates is mammals, right? But if you want to see the overall IDR comparative chart, once you go through this chart, it was also mentioned in the NCERT book. But if you see chordata, so notochord, dorsal, hollow, narrow chord, that is a major thing. And narrow chord is dorsal. And so dorsal, hollow, narrow chord. So that is the thing. For all earlier forms, it is dorsal, tubular, narrow chord. So, dorsal narrow chord is present in chordates and ventral solid narrow chord in the case of non-chordates, right? So, segmentation, what are the members? If you observe the point of segmentation, segmentation can be present in Annelida, can be present in Arthropoda, that is another group. And another group with segmentation is chordata. So these are the three groups provided with segmentation. You see their habitat, marine forms, Porifera, Nidaria, mostly marine, Ctenophora, only marine, Echinoderms, marine forms, and like this. So try to make an overall thing. And mammals, they complete even development internally. The period of internal development is called gestation period. For this purpose, they develop placenta. So you thoroughly go through all the examples given in NCERT, but try to read additional examples other than NCERT. So have a good day.